This $80 controller is the greatest controller I have ever touched, and I refuse to use it. This modded PS5 controller is 4 times the price of a GullyKit KK3, technically worse, but I use it every day, and the reason for it is actually quite sad. So to help explain this, we are on Gamepad Tester right now, and we are going to test the circularity of this modded PS5 controller. And when we go to test the circularity, you can see especially this left stick is super bad. The average error rate is nearly unplayable. There was a point in time where I was just gonna flat out stop using this controller, but when we go and we test the GullyKit, alright, I got the GullyKit plugged in. We are going to test the circularity, and we get a nice 0%. I've seen some controllers get as low as below 1%, but this GullyKit is the only one that I've seen to get a 0% error rate. So for as crazy as this controller is, why is it that I refuse to use it? Alright, I got the GullyKit plugged in. We are on KovaaK, and I am playing a scenario that is literally just right to left, no strafes in it. And immediately, as soon as you use this controller, you can tell that the analog sticks, there's just something different about them. I don't know if it's the tension that they use. I know some controllers can do different amounts of tension. The PS5 sticks that I have on this other controller are a bit more harder to push than on this GullyKit, but as soon as I plug this in and I start using it again, I had to fine-tune the sensitivity a little bit, but you can tell just right away that these sticks are so much more clean than the normal PS5 sticks, which sucks because I'm going to go into detail of it. But this controller, as good as these analog sticks are, we have to talk about the rest of the controller, and a big part of that is the reason I just don't use this controller. So yeah, So I'm gonna go now and try this PS5 one. I got the PS5 controller plugged in, and I am going to restart the scenario until I get it right. Yeah, I'm just a lot more used to holding this controller just because it's the main controller that I've been using. And you can already see there's a lot of almost what looks like skips with this controller. And as much as I am talking about the analog sticks and how clean it feels, this controller, even with the dead zone error rate or the circularity error rate being pretty bad, it is not the worst thing in the world. Playing with these controllers back to back and seeing the difference between them is kind of eye-opening. That GullyKit is a lot more smooth. I was also playing some static scenarios, testing out that controller, and the way that it feels to go from bot to bot, it almost actually feels like you're aiming differently from this PS5 controller to that Xbox GullyKit controller, just because with the PS5 you almost, yeah, I mean that scores worse right away. Really just how you use this controller and how you move these sticks is going to be different than from the GullyKit. This one theoretically is the best. This is the best analog sticks. It just sucks that I have to choose between good controller and good analog sticks. Okay, again, PS5 controller plugged in. We're gonna shoot bots for 1 minute. And pay attention real close to just the minor adjustments, because I think overall it'll be about the same. I was shooting bots on this controller earlier, so I'm a little bit warmed up. And then when I go to the GullyKit, it's going to be just slightly different, so I've not used that controller in months. You should also not jump and move around as much as possible, because on this PS5 controller, which I'll go more into detail, it has back buttons, and on the GullyKit it has back paddles, and I'm gonna go way more into detail about those paddles because I got some things to say. That's 1 minute. It went by super quick. Okay, let's plug in the GullyKit. Alright, the GullyKit is plugged in, and I'm only shooting bots for 1 minute, so it's a super small sample size. If I wanted to do a full test, there's a lot of more in-depth and timely things I could do, but for now I think it works out. Oh yeah, the sensitivity is different. My aim, I forgot, is going to be a lot less accurate. Feels a lot faster. That's what I felt for this controller, and I have another PS5 controller I tried. Some of the, like, controller to controller, the analog sticks are very different. I don't even know these back pedals. Yeah, even in just that 1 minute, I think it's pretty easy to see that with this goalie kit, even though I'm a lot less accurate on it, because these are super quick, I would have to get used to it. You can tell that it just feels so much smoother. You probably can't tell that because you would have to feel it, but it's so much smoother. Dude, if these sticks were on the PS5 controller, that's endgame controller, actually. But even in just those few kills, even with my aim being a bit more sloppy, these sticks are so good. Alright, like I said, this is an $80 controller. It's the greatest controller I ever touched. Even with just a couple minutes into it, I wish that I could have this controller again work as good as my PS5 controller. So I'm going to go a bit more into detail on why this controller is the greatest I've ever touched, but I will never use it again. There is a good reason why I have two of these controllers. For one, they are just 80 bucks, so it is nice how cheap they are. But the reason why I have two, this white one was the first one that I got. I think in between here, I used to put the tin foil of a gum wrapper. Even though these paddles themselves, it's metal paddles, but on the back of the controller, it just pushes down into these buttons. And I hate that. Actually, wait, I still have it on this black controller. On the back here, twice, with both of these controllers, I have had to put the metal tin foil. In fact, we can take it out because I'm not using this again. Actual, just a small piece of foil in the back of these paddles, because they will stop pushing in correctly and they kind of just like push down into themselves and not actual push into the button. Xbox shaped controllers are already just not my favorite. I don't like them too much, but with these triggers, you can push down all the way. You are supposed to be able to switch these things and it makes them into what they call digital click controllers, but it is not the same as digital click controllers. I hate how much this is becoming common in controllers, like it's supposed to be some cool in-between type of thing. Look, I have an aim controller. I would use this, but I hate these paddles. And the aim controller has the same switch mechanisms. I do not like these. You can push down all the way. It's cool. Yo, if you want to play different games, sure, go ahead. But FPS games and FPS controllers, just make them digital click. I do like how these are actually digital click though. I think I could get used to this controller. I've tried it on Gamepad Tester and it's decent. Just these paddles I cannot get used to. In the intro of this video, I was going to use the white controller. I brought out the black controller because for whatever reason, this just does not want to work. I don't know if it's a problem I ran into in the beginning and that's why I bought this second one, but this one just did not want to do anything. So the Gorilla Kit KK3, greatest analog sticks ever, all time. But why in the world am I paying 4 times the price for a controller analog stick that is technically worse? Just for a couple reasons. One, these back buttons, I love these so much more now after getting used to them. And I wonder if I actually could put more. The PS5 controller shape is not my favorite either. I was thinking about trying out a PS4 controller. These little switches, I've seen this on my aim controller too. This one just breaks. It's just broken. I'm pretty sure it happened on the white one as well. I hate that like switch thing. I swear there's loose pieces. Don't know why people like that so much. This PS5 controller is super custom, so these are actually digital click as well. They're not just normal buttons that you would get. Digital click there. These are just regular buttons, as well as the bumpers are digital click as well, And that's pretty much it to this controller. There's not much to controllers. So when you go looking for a controller, there's not much to them. You want them to actually be good. So to give myself a little bit more credibility, I have been looking for good controllers ever since I got this 360 Scuff. I think this was back in like 2013. It just sucks because controllers are so close to being endgame. I swear, if I could have the analog sticks in this, but on this controller, it would be good. It'd be like we'd be there. And it's so upsetting because mouse and keyboard players have such good keyboards and mice and good technology inside of them. And then controllers, for the longest time, literally up until like a year back, in this controller, Hall Effect sticks, in the Gully Kit, Hall Effect sticks. This Gully Kit was the first Hall Effect controller that I got, and that was a year back. It's so insane how far behind controllers are compared to everything else. When you have Call of Duty players using aim assist, I mean, what does it matter? As much as I want to love this Gully Kit controller and tell you to buy it, I mean, it's 80 bucks, a lot better compared to something that's like $300 plus, I think. I just can't. This controller, I wish it was better. As of right now, the next purchase I'm going to make is this Hex controller. The paddles on the back or buttons are not my favorites, and they have switches. I might actually just not buy this controller just because of that. Jesus. The reason why this controller is so cool, if I scroll down and find it, they have this adjustment tool. I want to see how well this works. It could be godlike. And the buttons come out pretty far. I just hope they're an actual good clicky type buttons. There is a future controller I am on the lookout for from Bud's controllers, rebranded recently. Okay. There's a controller he's working on that should be as good of the analog sticks on the Gully kit, a 0% circularity error, but on a PS5 controller. And I think the board on it is actually like a custom board. Like it has his logo on it, so he made it. So yo, go tweet this guy. Tell him to give Kai a controller. I should have one of these as the #1 no aim assist player. I should get my hands on these. I know they put out, they gave some to beta testers. I should have reached out to try to get one because I want to try this controller so bad. Cool, I'm live right now, twitch.tv/itskai611. Come by and watch the greatest controller player on earth. My thumb. Aim assist built into this.